Leanne Bradley, and I'm going to be giving my speech over authoritarian parenting. And I'm going to first talk about the characteristics of authoritarian parenting style. Next, I'm going to talk about the negative effects of this parenting style. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the parenting style that I believe is the best, which is authoritative parenting. So like I said, I'm going to begin with the characteristics of authoritarian parents. So these are the parents that are extremely strict. There's no compromising. They believe that obedience equals love. And these are the parents that when you go to ask to do something like, Mom, can I go to the park with my friends? They're gonna say, no. You're gonna ask, why? Because I said so. These parents are this way because they lack the trust that their children are going to make good choices. So they believe that they should make the choices for them and that they should control their children and control the family. This parenting style actually has a bunch of negative effects that these parents don't realize. One of these effects being that these parents actually lead to the most aggressive children. In a study done by Mohammed Amran and Norhida Basri, they said, authoritarian parenting has been found to have a high correlation with juvenile delinquent behavior. That's ironic because these parents believe that their children aren't going to make good choices, so they make the choices for them. Yet this parenting style actually leads to more delinquent behavior in children. Also, to add on to this, the aggression and the anger that these children hold actually is found to be a distraction for the depression that they have. So actually this parenting style leads to a mental toll on children's health, their mental well-being, and it just leads to a toll on their mental well-being, and it leads to more depressed children. Also, according to Psychology Today, one study of 1,230 adults found that authoritarian parenting styles worsen later mental health, including symptomatic problems and risks to self and others, life functioning, and psychological well-being. So an example of an authoritarian parents, my auntie actually. So I believe she's the best auntie, but when my cousin Adrian goes to ask, can I go outside and play with my friends at 9 p.m. at night? She's gonna say no. When he asks why, she's gonna say, Adrian, do you want a whooping? So this is actually very harmful. This actually instills fear in children rather than educating them. So where she feels like she's doing the right thing by telling him, you can't do this, and if you decide to do this or to ask any further questions, I'm going to punish you. He's not learning anything. He's just scared of her now. I now want to talk about the parenting style that I think is the best, which is authoritative parenting. So this is actually the middle ground of parenting. These parents aren't like permissive parents, which are very kind. They want to be their children's friend. There's no punishments. Their children can just walk all over them, do whatever. That's the opposite of authoritarian parenting, obviously, because authoritarian parenting, like I said, has the strict parenting, they enforce the rules. But, like the parenting style that I believe is the best, authoritative parenting, they set standards and boundaries with their children. They're the type of parents that when a child asks, can I go outside and play with my friends, but it's 9 p.m. at night, they're gonna say, I understand that you wanna go play with your friends, but it's nighttime, we have to get ready for bed, and you can go do that tomorrow. These parents offer logical reasoning, and they explain why they're telling their children the things that they're telling their children. They don't want to scare their children. There's going to be punishments, but it's not going to be harsh, and it's not going to be abusive physically or mentally like the authoritarian parenting. If their child, per se, they receive a bad grade in the class, this parent, they're going to talk with their children, and then we're gonna be like, why are you receiving this grade? Do you need help? Do you need a tutor? They're gonna help them with a solution. They're gonna work through it together, whereas an authoritarian parent would be like, oh, you have an F, I'm going to hit you, I'm gonna yell at you, I'm gonna take your phone. That's why not to be an authoritarian parent in the future. Authoritative parents are the best because they know how to set a middle ground with their children. They are nurturing and they're warm, but they don't let their children walk all over them. So if you're gonna take anything away from this speech today, I would say as we move into adulthood and if you guys choose to be parents in the future, don't be the because I said so parent or the children need obedience, that's love. Be the you can do this another day because and offer them a reason. Yes.
Comments, thoughts?